Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olson, the Tolkien Professor, and I am joined, as always, by my friend Gryfflet the Hobbit, who is apparently helping himself here. He's having a little Thanksgiving Day feast in the Mead Hall here in Stangard. They didn't offer him hospitality, you know, on the premise that they didn't have enough food when there's, like, enormous quantities of food sitting around, so seems to have taken matters into his own hands. But anyway, Gryfflet, let's up and at him here. It's time to get back to work. Here we are in Stangard trying to right wrongs and look at buildings. So now, the end of last time, we met Stanric and Sithric. So really cool that the very first thing we see, the first time we encounter, so we encountered Rohirrim further up, and the first thing we saw was the whole falling in love with elves thing. So there are two things so far that we've been seeing going as we're transitioning down now into Rohan. The two things that we've seen are, first, them interacting with elves on the border, right? And we were looking at what I think was a really excellent quest writing and story writing, thinking about the interactions between mortals and elves on the edge of Lothlorien there. I think that was really, really cool. And now, as we move down into Stangard, we are beginning to get into Rohan politics, right? We're beginning to see a glimpse from afar, from quite a distance still. But we're beginning to see the way in which the story of Rohan is being played out, right? So we have Stanric, who is the guy who has been the leader here, right? The actual ruler of Stangard, and Sithric, who has been sent by the king, which is of course suspicious, as we know. And this is actually a really interesting moment, right? Because one of the things that I've been really interested in, as Gryfflet has been going through carefully all of the different storylines of the game, is to see how they relate the storylines to the storylines in the books, right? Sometimes we're sort of doing these sort of extra filler quests that get mentioned in the book, but which we don't see anyone actually do, right? So, you know, I love that anytime that some job is done by somebody that is not named in the book, it's always given to us as the characters to do it. I really like that. And there have been some other, you know, things which have just been sort of totally separate, like, say, for instance, the Moria quests, which were not really part of the storyline of the book at all, of course, but yet are deliberately paralleled to the book storylines and exploring a lot of the sort of the ideas, not of the main storyline, but of course at the time, though I was a little bit delirious at the time because I did it in like 14 solid hours on stream, nevertheless, you know, one of the points that I was making when I was talking about the Moria stuff is that it's like getting a chance to go back, you know, several years and see. It's like sort of fulfilling two things at once, right? One is the desire to go back and see the settlement of Balin and his people, right? What happens when the dwarves try to reconquer and resettle Moria? And you see a lot of the stuff, a lot of the things being recapitulated, and of course the very deliberate parallels between the establishment of the Iron Garrison in Moria and the failed establishment of Balin's people. But at the same time, there's also this sort of fantasy element of it, right? Which is that it succeeds, which is cool. Like we get at a happy ending, and I got to tell you, when I played Moria for the first time, I was convinced they were all going to die. You know, that they were gonna really play out the parallel between the Balin's people and the Iron Garrison. I was like, I have a really bad feeling about this, but it turned out comparatively well. So that was really interesting. Anyway, so, you know, those are some of the shapes that we've seen. One of the things that we're getting here with Stanric and Sithric for the first time is the way that they're able to use dramatic irony, right? That is, we as readers of the books know what's going on here, right? there are like mysteries to be solved here in Stanric. Everyone is kind of confused. We've got this conflict of leadership. The traditional leader Stanric, whom everybody seems to like, and the guy Sithric, whom nobody except the people, specifically loyal to him, seem to like. But yet he's sent from the king, and so there is great confusion. And of course, we know why, right? Without even just meeting them once, I know exactly what's going on here. Right, what's going on? Sithric has been sent. He's been sent technically by Theoden, but of course he's really been sent by Wormtongue. And so it's pretty obvious that Sithric is here in order to undermine Stangard and to make it more vulnerable to the forces of Isengard. Because again, like, we know not just the outcome of the main story, but we know the key underlying elements of all of the stories. And it's particularly interesting that this first moment when this kind of story is playing out in this way comes at the quests that I'm being asked to do are all like solving mysteries, right? So we're being sort of nudged in that direction. And I think, of course, part of that, I think, is because for people who don't really know the books, I mean, you can't assume 100% of the people playing the game know the books really well. If you don't, you'll figure out what's going on over the course of this, presumably. But anyway, it's pretty fun, I think. I think this is a really neat exploration. So I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more about how they are envisioning the initiatives of Wormtongue in Rohan, which again we sort of know have happened, right? We know that Wormtongue, has been working to undermine Rohan for a while, right? We hear about this from Éomer, we hear about this from Gandalf, but we only hear a little bit, right? Like, we only hear just sort of some blanket statements that he has been doing this stuff. Well, what does that look like, right? And worse, what is it like from the point of view of the Rohirrim, who don't know anything about Wormtongue's work, right? At least the people at Meduseld can see Wormtongue himself, right? And might, like Éomer and like Éowyn, have a pretty strong suspicion, right, about what is really going on, even if they can't do anything about it. But what about the people out here? What about the others in far-flung places in Rohan who are merely receiving decrees from their king, right? Which are going to be, most likely, more and more manifestly counterproductive, even potentially treasonous. What are they going to do? How are they going to respond? How can they respond in that kind of situation? So I think that it's a really fun exploration. I'm looking forward to seeing that as Gryfflet moves through Rohan, which I don't think I'm gonna try not to be absolutely completionist about it for the sake of efficiency, but I really want to look at these storylines. So anyway, so Gryfflet's going to get back to it here. And also, by the way, I'm going to try to actually answer some lore questions today. It's a little hard, right, when I was exploring a new town for the first time here. Interesting that Sithric is very plain, isn't he? I mean, they both are. It's interesting that he doesn't bear any markers. He's not fancy. I don't know why exactly I would expect him to be fancy, but he's not tricked out. He's not, he doesn't look like a lord. He just looks like a soldier. Interesting. I'll explain why I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that because one of the questions, of course, that I have when looking at the people who are obviously the instruments of Wormtongue, because it seems pretty clear from the beginning that Sithric is a collaborator with Wormtongue. He's not a dupe of Wormtongue. Those would be two options, right? And I think he's a collaborator with Wormtongue. So my question is, like, why? Why is he a collaborator of Wormtongue? And for personal enrichment, doesn't seem to be for power. Who knows? That would be interesting to see. So we'll see what we find with Sithric here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, all right. Hang on a second. Before I get to, let me figure out my quests, because I do need to make some progress in my tasks, my quests rather. If I'm just standing around answering lower questions, Gryfflet's going to make no manner of progress at all. So let me try to get him to a place where I can run around and do errands while I am trying to answer some lower questions. So, Madman is asking, what would one normally expect to gain from such an alliance? Well, wealth. Again, like bribery. Hi, Kiriana. Good to see you. Standing over going over the head of the rumor mongers, huh? Okay. Oh, right. I got to talk to Saber. Right. Hi, Saber. I know it wouldn't be pronounced like French, but when I look at his name, he just looks French. What can I say? Beasts at the doors.
Our success depends upon our strength.
It has been months
Will
since
you aid
anyone
us?
has posted on any of our watchtowers. Men go out to hunt, and too many die because they don't know what faces them. Oh, is it because they wander too far north and get attacked by the deer? I could totally see how that would happen. It would be a great help to us if you could just climb the watchtowers and look at what roams. Okay. But I gotta tell you, there aren't that many deer around here, so I think you should be pretty safe. Hi, Kiriana. So I'm supposed to climb a watchtower, so I think I'm gonna do that. This is a good vantage point. What can we see? Let's look. Okay, so there's that little almost totally unmarked ruin that we did not, well, that I didn't understand. And I don't think, let's see, from this vantage point, it's interesting to see these boulders across the hilltops because they almost look like standing stones, but I think they're not. I think these are just natural boulder constructions. This is doubtless what Sabero is wanting me to come up here and look at. I don't see any beasts at all. Everything looks desolate. Okay. Oh, look at that Gondorian ruin in the background, though. Just on the... Oh, there's one. Look, I see a dog. There's a dog. No, it's a goat. It's a goat. There's a plains goat, but they're super friendly. So that's great. But wait, hang on. I see a Gondorian ruin. There's a clearly Gondorian tower with its, like, 2 wings and stuff sticking up there. What direction am I looking? I'm looking off to the south. Ooh, is that by Parth Celebrant? Is that where that is? Oh, come on. No, this is not useful. Yes. Yes, that is. Okay. Wow. Awesome. Yeah. Cool old Gondorian ruin. Yeah, wait, so what am I supposed to do? Oh, wait, there's a worm. Right, as if that's interesting. Okay, oh, wait, hang on. Perform watch tower duty. All right. I see nothing noteworthy. Wait, is by being close to the edge, was that... Why didn't I get credit for doing my watchtower duty? Hang on a sec, because I came up, and then it was like, this is a good vantage point, but now it's not, I'm not, okay. What, do I have to go out and come in again? And just do watchtower duty immediately? Let's try that, hang on. Okay, I was doing too much actual sightseeing. Okay. I'm looking. No. Alright, I guess I just have to go to different towers. That's fine. Okay. Alright, fine. Wrong towers. So, hey, that means I get to go up other towers. So I'm supposed to go up towers and look around, which is great. I'm supposed to search for Bernstein's stolen rations, right? So I've got a little investigation work to do, and I'm supposed to talk to Kunrid to gain entry to the lock house. Oh, because, like, people are hungry? I guess there's... I could have brought him a turkey leg, I suppose. That would have been thoughtful, but... okay, oh. Look at all these quest rings all over the place. Look, it's the kennel. Hey, I can go in here now. What do we see in the kennel? The dogs are surprisingly well tended compared with the rest of Stangard. Oh, that's... Whoa! I found that... Are they labeled? Somebody stole them and then labeled them as the stolen rations? That's kind of amazing. So the dogs are well tended for. Huh. Now that's really interesting. Does that just suggest corruption in the kennel, dude? I have to... confront him. Yeah, because he'll find me intimidating. Hey, Buster. Don't make me break your kneecaps.
What brings you to these lands?
Yeah, I probably am gonna turn you in. Wait, you wish to tell me why you did it? Okay. If I do not steal, the dogs will starve. As their keeper, I cannot let that happen. I give them my own food, but it is not enough. Oh, man. Oh, his deeds are honorable. Yeah, that's really interesting, right? So the first thing that I find is that although there is corruption in the town, it's like good-natured corruption. Huh. Okay, hey, well, I'm right here. Look at this. Hey, the men and horses are hungry. Dogs, less so. But here I thought there was like some insidious purpose being planned for the dogs by Sithric, but no. You've been sent to give out the daily rations. Okay. All right. Search the food store stacks. Are they in the walkhouse? I discovered the walkhouse. Oh, hang on. There's something sparkly. There we go. Food stores. So what am I meant to do now? Just make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay. I collected a meager amount of food. All right. Oh, wait, hang on. There's more of the meagerness. Okay. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. All right, I got it. So, let me then attempt to actually go back and answer the lore question that I asked, that I read last time but didn't get around to. Nice deer heads. I approve of these decorations. It shows their valor, right? That they confronted those deer and yet escaped to tell the tale. Anyway, okay, so the questions. Let me review the questions because nobody probably remembers them. Even I don't remember them. The questions there were 3 related questions all about essentially the relationship between Middle-earth geography and real-world geography. These were... when my music is loud on Twitch? I'm sorry. I don't say. Hang on a second. Let's see what we can do. Fixing my audio here. Okay. Yes. Sorry, I apologize. I can barely hear it. So, okay. So again, the questions were, what do I think Tolkien meant when he said that Middle-earth is our Earth in a different stage of imagination? And Ethelwald says Tol Eressëa is meant to be England, right? So would that island have the same climate as the Shire? And then Finnboga asked, in the Embarcanta, it mentions the lands of the sun. Are these supposed to be the Americas or something? So okay, first let me address Jogo's question. What do I think Tolkien meant when he said that Middle-earth is our Earth in a different stage of imagination? The answer, I believe, is that he was talking about he was. There are a couple things that there are sort of two things that he insisted on. One of them frequently, one of them is sort of something that he said less frequently. And the thing that he said frequently is that, a den of slavering dogs preying upon the lands? Where? That's kind of interesting. I don't see any den of slavering dogs. Huh. Ooh, nice keep. Oh, it looks like a little Norman keep. How adorable. I can't wait to go see that. So one thing he insists is that Middle-earth is not a fantasy world, right? It is not a separate world. It is ultimately, originally, in a sense at least, our world. So that's one thing that he did say frequently, right? The fictional concept of Middle-earth is, again, it's not a separate fairy tale world. Instead, it's a version of our world. Now, the different state of imagination thing is the thing that he kind of emphasized less. So again, one is Middle-earth is our world. But the other thing is that it's not really our world, or it's not meant to be a sort of specifically historical moment in our world. So what he means there is that this is an imagined alternate historical moment of our world. It's not just a matter of being able to identify. He wasn't writing historical fiction. He wasn't actually trying to go back to a particular time of our history in particular lands on our geography and say that this is exactly when the story took place. So in a sense, it's framed within our world, within our world's history, in the sense that framed within our history in the sense that it is he's imagining his stories began essentially as a way to explain some of the legends and things that we have, right? Why do we have all these stories about elves? Why do we have all these fairy tales and fairy stories? The answer is the stories of the First Age, right? The answer was the Book of Lost Tales. Ultimately, the first thing that he wrote back in the teens and 20s, mostly in the teens. So that's the sort of concept. So, but again, he's not trying to be actually historical, not rigorously historical. So that's what he means by a different state of imagination, I believe. Interesting. I hope this is, if a new person was delivering, there would be more. Okay, so you were thinking that perhaps it was just somebody else doing a bad job, but no, it's not somebody else doing a bad job. Okay. All right, now I'm supposed to give food to people, and I'm supposed to explore their watchtowers. Can I get into this watchtower? No, I cannot. Hey, person who's stream bombing me, could you stop that? It's kind of distracting. I really hate that, actually. So please don't do that. Can I get into this one? No, can't get into that one either. Yeah, Mecmulong, I see you. Can you please not do that, actually? It is vexing. I am vexed. Hey, Bernstein, I found the person. Let me tell you the sad story about the dogs.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
That's right. He was feeding the dogs of Stangard. I've noticed that he does show particular kindness to those dogs. There was once a time we had food enough for all. I will keep this incident a secret and even share some of my food with the beasts. Oh. Okay. See, we're gonna forgive, and we're gonna because it was all for a good cause. So that was good. And also I have some rations
Will
for
you aid the horse lords?
Curse Stanric for dooming us to starvation. Aha. So we have Stanric being blamed. Stanric's house? Why am I meant to go in here? I've discovered Stanric's house. Oh, what a charming little bedroom area with a valiant evidence of his previous battles with deer over his bed. What a humble little place Stanric has here. Anyway, okay, sorry, but I'm supposed to be delivering rations. One to Wada and one back to Atholf. Okay, I know where he is. And I still have not found any watchtowers I can go in, so I'm going to keep looking for those. I think there's one over here, isn't there? Yeah, Gata did have, well, yeah, he wanted to turn in from, the one that I finished. But I think I just finished them all three and then hand them in. But I think there's a watchtower over here, yeah? Okay, so let me get then to the second real-world geography thing. Ethelwald. Tor Eressëa is meant to be England, right? So would that island have the same climate as the Shire? So, darn it, I can't even get into any of these. What's the point of the watchtowers? Is there another one up in this direction? Well, I'll just go look for more obvious ones, I guess. Okay. Okay, so, so Tol Eressëa. So as I was saying, there's Tolkien's initial interest in the kind of like where sort of his whole fictional world came from was imagining this kind of alternate history, which would explain why is it that Curiana rising further and further above the rumor mongers. That's good. Yeah, oh, hang on. I gotta look out here. He was imagining why do we have these fairy tales? What is the explanation behind these stories that have survived? And that was the reason why. Now, in particular, in explaining that, in sort of fleshing that out, he came to explain what are some of these stories, right? What are there's a larger story behind. There's a reason why England, in particular, is so rich in these stories, and that's because the elves used to live here. Like this island was their island, so it was Tol Eressëa. And in the Wailing Hills, orcs and more orcs. Wow, that's not good. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm looking at watchtowers now. Was this one I saw the dogs from? Okay. That's the one I couldn't get into. That's the one. No, wait, that's the one I saw the dogs from. I don't get it. All right. I'll just keep looking for watchtowers, I guess. Okay. So England was, in the original England was Tol Eressëa, and he was doing a lot more of, so when I've talked about this, I talked about what I call myths of explanation, right? Those stories that, like, here is the mythic explanation for why things are the way that they are, right? And he did a lot of that. The Book of Lost Tales is full of a lot of things like that. Like, why do dogs and cats not get along? There's a myth of explanation behind that, right? And the answer is Huon the Hound, actually, of course, and his unfriend, Tevildo, the cat. I'm really pretty sure that's the one that I went to and saw the dogs from. Anyway, so he does that kind of thing a lot. So he was doing that kind of thing a great deal when it came to Toleracea and stuff. Yeah, this is the dogs. I did see it from here. So why is this the one that's highlighted on my map? I don't understand. For instance, one of the things that he explains is why the island of Ireland exists. And I think he actually makes a kind of political joke, actually, about Ireland. Because the reason that Ireland... Because, when you look at the map, Ireland kind of fits into the coastline of England and Wales, right? Into the rest of the British Isles. So it looks like it was sort of torn away, right, to create the Irish Channel. And the explanation is that there was actually a tug of war, right, between Olmo and Osse when they were trying to move the island or not to move the island. And so the island of... so Ireland was ripped away and made into a separate island. So the idea that the very origin of the island of Ireland was a tug of war, right, between like England and Ireland is, I think, a little bit of a political joke, which is, I think, actually kind of clever. But anyhow, so... meanwhile, I'm going to keep looking. No, there is no other watchtower over there. I never know which watchtower I'm meant to go to. Where's Wada? Also, I've got one more dude's food. No, two more dude's food. Well, I know where this one is. There's Atholf. He's right over here. And there's so many quest zeros, I think from places I was supposed to investigate to look for stolen rations, but I went to them accidentally. I didn't even remember they were there. I think that this is less than we got before Sithric came to make things better for us here. So he's naive, but like slightly suspicious. Okay. Boy. All right. Okay, I think he's down over here, right? So I've got to go into a house somewhere? He's down over here? Yeah. Oh, there he is, chopping wood. Hi there, Juan. I've got food for you, chopping wood. Look at that big pile of wood you've chopped. You look like a hungry wood chopper.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Does Stanric really think his men will follow him if this is all he feeds us? Notice some are blaming Stanric. Just don't connect it with Sithric at all. Others, like our chaotic good dog keeper, is making a correlation with the coming of Sithric, right? I grow hungrier every day. We will not take it much longer. Instigation of rebellion. Is that the point, then? Okay. Does anybody know which bloody watchtower I'm supposed to go up? I found two of them. Two of the correct watchtowers. So let me see. This is the one that I went up and I saw in the Wailing Hills. Maybe there's this one up here. I don't think I tried that one. Let me try that one. Okay. All right. I'll try that one. But as for climate and stuff, back to Ethelwald's specific question. So Toleresia was originally England, or England was originally Toleresia. But that was an idea that he abandoned a long time before. The idea of that specific connection, I love how I accidentally rode my horse all the way up here. that specific connection was really only true in the Book of Lost Tales. And as soon as he turned away from the Book of Lost Tales, by the time even he got to the 1930 Quentin Ilderinwa, his version 2 of the Silmarillion, essentially, he had already abandoned the explicit identification between England and Tolaresia. So to say that England is any kind of an indicator of what Tolaresia, as it's conceived, certainly in the Lord of the Rings and the published Silmarillion, is really irrelevant. I mean, for crying out loud, it's not even exactly in our world anymore. It's been taken away into a separate place. So, there's really no way that we can correlate the climates there. So there is a connection between England and Tolaresia, but it's a historical one. That is to say, historical not within the history of our world or within the history of Middle-earth, but historically within Tolkien's own writing process. That was his original idea back when he was 25, but it was long since passed by the time the Lord of the Rings came around. Okay, so maybe let's see what we can see from here. Nothing. Fine. I'll try that one. Did I do that one? Let's see. No. I'll try that one over there. Can I get to it? Let's see. All right. Let's see. Can I get to this one? Is this Oh. Huh. It's not so much a watchtower as the loft of Saber's house. Wow, does Saber have a watchtower in his house? He does! Look at that! He's got his own personal watchtower. Well, that's kind of amazing. Okay, what do we see here? Nothing. This isn't even a good vantage point. He's got a crappy watchtower in his house, apparently. Whoa. Yeah, I need a box to stand on or something. Are there extra high guardrails here? I don't remember not being able to see over the other ones. Maybe Saber has kids, and so he child-proofed his own personal watchtower. Huh. Wow, this is a much nicer house than Stanrik's house, which is interesting. Oh. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to need to pause for a second if I can. Actually, nah, I'm fine. I hear my dog is very alarmed upstairs, As often happens, I think someone is attempting to deliver something to my house. You know how dogs are so vigilant about that. I'm totally convinced that if someone actually broke into my house, she would lick his ankles, but try to make a delivery and see what happens. Okay. All right. So the third question then was Finnboga's question. In the Ambarkanta, are the lands of the sun in the east supposed to be the Americas? So far to the east, so you've got Middle-earth, which is called Middle-earth because it's in the middle between Valinor in the west and the far eastern lands out there. And I'm having no watchtower luck. Maybe I should try that one behind the mead hall. Maybe I'll do that. So anyway, that's okay. That's why Middle-earth is called Middle-earth. So the lands off to the east, of course, we know very little about. We know, in fact, almost nothing about them. but they are called the Lands of the Sun and the Embarcanta. By the way, I was just calling like the Silmarillion 2.0, the Quentin Eldarinma from 1930. The Embarcanta comes from the 1937 revision, that really sort of charming, heartwarming, and slightly sad time when Tolkien really thought he was on the cusp of publishing the Silmarillion in 1937, when The Hobbit was coming out, and everybody, you know, he was excited because the publisher was excited, but turns out, of course, the Silmarillion was not at all what the publisher was looking for. He wanted another Hobbit book, so Tolkien set himself down to. Oh, and I can't even get into this one. You know. Anyway, so yeah, so in that time, so the Embarcanta is a sort of a description of the shape of Middle Earth. And I can't get into this one. I'm just going to go around the inside of the wall. And this is the one I saw the dogs from. Yeah. Though this is the one that it seems to really want me to go up. I'll do it again. Yeah. Anyhow. So there are lands in the Far East called the Lands of the Sun. Are they supposed to be the Americas? I doubt it. I don't think so. By the time he wrote that in 1937, the reason I was talking about the timeline there, he had long since abandoned that kind of very specific, geographic correlation. So no, I don't think they're meant to be the Americas. Because remember, the whole shape of the world changes. The whole shape of the world changes when we... This is the very first tower I went up, and it said I didn't see anything. Oh, that is so vexing. I'm all manner of vexed today. That was literally the first one I went up, and it said there was nothing there. For crying out loud. That's amazing how Kiriana can be AFK and still not fall off that little pinnacle. Okay, so we've got worms, we've got dogs, we've got orcs, but there's good news. So I'll report the good news. Anyway, yeah, I don't think so. I definitely don't think that he's trying to think about the Americas in particular there. Okay, hey, I finished my jobs finally. Okay, so the good news is...
Will you aid the Horse Lords?
No one has done watch duty since Sithric came here. Yeah, the good news is no deer. No deer as far as the eye could see, so I think you guys are safe. Just orcs, worms, and mad dogs. So, again, comparative safety. Okay. And a haunted wood to the north. Yeah, well, that's your problem. Haunted by deer. Things have worsened for us since the patrols lessened. What you think? No hope of us getting food from Errol's Mead. Okay. Hey, maybe I can help with that. Okay, so yeah.
Our mission is dire.
There is stealing. Yeah. But, Bernstein is not going to press charges. So we're good. Crisis food issue.
Our mission is dire.
Okay, I brought them in their rations and the horses. They're still not... It was meager. It was meager, man. It was meager times 4. We always had to tighten our belt at Stangard, but things have only become worse since Sithric came. Okay, and involved himself in every aspect of rule here. God is putting it together. So what do you think?
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
The men of Stangard carry their many burdens. There was hope that Sithric would make things better, but life is harder now. Interesting. They thought Sithric would make things better. Just because a special envoy came from the king, and so they were sort of assuming that must be a good thing. That would be a sort of... would be something you might expect from people who seem to have the loyalty to Theoden and his line that the people of Rohan have. And of course, that's one of the major things that's going to be accomplished by Wormtongue, right, is undermining some of that confidence. Many are hungrier, many leave and do not return. Those who stay carry more weight than ever. Okay. So what do we do next, Gata?
The Rohirrim will need
We should bring
your
these
aid.
issues to Stangard himself. Perhaps we will catch him away from Sithric for once. Yeah, maybe. I'm not confident about... Oh, wait, hang on. We'll get an instance. Great! Let's do this.
After seeing the many hardships faced by the men of Stangard, Gada has decided to make an appeal to the leaders of the settlement.
Okay. So we're going to make an appeal. All right, Gada. What do you think?
Will you aid the horse lords?
Oh, wait. Sithric he's standing right there. Perhaps hearing from a stranger will make them realize something must be done. Okay. Things were not always this bad. We have few men, but it used to be that we could get things done. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm still passing you. I'm really short, but I still even walk faster than you do. Oh, here we go. Left face. Down we go. Hi, Stangard. Yeah, here our appeal. There's hardships. I have your ear. Great. That's great. Okay.
Our mission is dire.
Share my impressions of the stagnant, malnourished state of things. Oh dear. Everything you say is true. Perhaps something can be done. Let us speak our minds. Yeah. Dire. The situation is dire. Our guest has seen many of the... Okay, men are so hungry they can't perform their duties. Our lands, once so carefully patrolled, have been allowed to grow perilous. These are all changes for the worst. It is true, our hunting parties oft do not return, and our food supplies dwindle alarmingly. Life was always a struggle, but never so dire as now. So true. As now, say what you really mean. Do not mince your words for my benefit. Yeah. Since you came, Buster.
Our mission is dire.
I'm supposed to not interrupt. Yeah. Give it to him, Gata. Things have grown far worse since your arrival. That's right. The king appointed you, but you only thwart all of our efforts to improve things here. See, right. Stangard doesn't want to think this because it would reflect ill on Theoden. Because Stangard failed the king, you will answer to me. I am here to see that things are run properly. If you resist me, you resist the will of the king. If you resist me, you resist the will of the king. And then he makes his will foolishness, right? Yeah, that's really great. I really like that a lot. He says, I'm running things, right? You have to do, if you would run things properly the way I tell you, then things would be fine because my will is I'm expressing the will of the king. And then the whole point, of course, is to get people to see that it's ridiculous. It's really interesting because it's not self-aggrandizing, right? Sithric's role is to act, I don't know, almost, I was going to say like a buffoon. No, that's not quite right, but sort of. I mean, he's meant to look like an idiot. He's playing the part of an idiot, rather, in order to convey that he's been appointed by an idiot. You're supposed to question his will and think him a fool, because in doing so, then you will think Theoden King a fool. That seems to be the overarching goal of the plot, right? But as I say, that's a rather self-effacing position for a henchman of Grima to take. I mean, Sithric is kind of taking one for Team Evil here, right? Which is fascinating.
What brings you to
and
these
Stangard's
lands?
unwillingness to go there, right? He sees the terms there, right? If we condemn Sithric, if we say what Gada is saying, which is the obvious thing, right? Which is that his advice is bad advice. His will is a foolish will. Then you're criticizing Theoden, and Stangard doesn't want to do that. So instead, we'll just live in cognitive dissonance, right? Okay. Keep out of this, burglar. All right? Stangard's affairs are no concern of mine. Okay. Well, he's grumpy, huh? Oh, he's going upstairs. Where's he going? On walkabout? On the balcony? Okay. Hey, Stangard, what do you really think?
What business have you with the
The
Rohirrim?
king is not the man he once was. See, he knows. It's, he can't really not be aware. To defy him even for good reason would not end well for me or my men. It's like Stangard can see the end towards which this is being pushed. Perhaps even suspects that Sithric is deliberately pushing it towards that end, right? But he knows that if they openly defy the legal will of Theoden, that, the enemies win, right? That's their goal. And so it's a very, very cunning situation that they've created here. And so the first impression that we get of Wormtongue as a, sort of political operator here is a really, really good one, right? This is extremely cunning. Way better than, a much simpler version of this story, for instance, would be, Wormtongue getting Theoden to simply appoint one of his henchmen, to like replace Stangard with somebody else who's just, takes it as his own personal fiefdom and abuses his power and all that kind of thing, right? That, sets himself up as this, by the right of Theoden, sets himself up as a new ruler. But that's not what we get, right? Because that would lead to something like, it would lead to a version of this, but a much less subtle version of this. It would lead people to question if Sithric were out explicitly for like personal aggrandizement and political power, his own immediate power, then people would be more suspicious, right? That something weird is going on here. But this is much more devious. This is much more wormtonguey, right? So that's really cool. Matt is wondering if he could be modeled on Unferth in some sense. I don't know. I don't really see Unferth necessarily in him, though I'm actually on the lookout for Unferth characters. I wonder if we will get somebody who is like Unferth. Okay, anyway, sorry. You have an idea. I am not truly bound by your laws. That's true. If I can think of anything that I could do that would help, I have your blessing. So the visiting player character provides an opportunity that Stangard is clever enough to try to take advantage of, right? He cannot fight Sithric without fighting the entire system, without fighting the king himself, which not only is he unwilling to do, but he knows would be destruction to do. So, but I can work outside the system. Awesome. But you can't say anything more. No problem. I'm tracking you, Stangard. No problem. Sithric can't imprison me for any of my deeds as long as no crime is committed. Okay. I won't commit any crime, Stangard. I got it. I'm going to operate outside, but not against the law. All right. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Oh, right. I was standing with Gada here. And now he's gone. So let's go back out to Gada here. I could probably stop walking now. Okay, Gada. How frustrating! If Sithric represents the king's wishes, I have no desire to be a subject of Theoden any longer. See, there's the danger, right? Our king was once a great man, but now... I must be careful what I say. Sithric's men are everywhere. Yeah, man. Don't doubt Theoden. It's not absolutely his fault. Shoulder pads of the Borderlands. That sounds grandiose. I'll just get more silver tokens, I guess. Okay. All right. Yeah, sorry, Phil, thanks. Yeah, Unferth is not exactly a bad guy. I mean, Grendel's the bad guy, but he's the guy that Beowulf has a conflict with.
Have need of your services.
Okay, it's good that Stangard has given me leave. Okay, Saber and Tatooine are good men, and better yet, they are not loyal to Sithric. Okay, I'm going to talk to the dude who has a watchtower in his house. What time is it? Oh, we're still good. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I did in fact answer a bunch of questions. That was fun. And let's see. What's my favorite region or zone in LOTRO? That is an interesting question. My favorite zone. Let's see. I gotta look at the map. Ooh, the map. Hang on. Are there regions of this map that have opened up since I last looked at it? I'm sure there are. Oh, to the Iron Hills. Anyway, sorry. Okay. Favorite zone? I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I've always liked the North Downs. Forickel is lovely. Dunland I find very interesting. Lothlorien is beautiful. Isengard was awesome. Well, I've not really gotten down to Gondor, so, you know, there's a lot that, and of course I've visited Mordor briefly. I'm looking forward to exploring more Gondor and seeing about that. I think I really like Rohan. Gryfflet's only just starting to get towards there, which I've been really looking forward to, because I think that Rohan is my favorite area that I've been in so far, which means I have high hopes for Gondor. I really like the initial areas. I really respect and admire the work that the LOTRO people did back in the early days of LOTRO. You know, back in the old Eriador days, right? And yet, going through all of the quest lines, not just the epic quest, but most of the side quests and everything as well, as Gryfflet has been doing, you can really see the richness, especially of the story content, as the game goes on, right? I really like the Eriador stuff, and the epic plot line in Volume 1 is really a great story. Then Volume 2 and the explorations of Moria are really cool. I really love those. Then as we get out to the other side, right, and we get down into Lothlorien, and now we're coming into, and then out in Dunland, the concept of Volume 3, as we go through and we do the riding of the Grey Company, Dunland, for those of you who have followed the Gryfflet stream for a while, will remember Dunland is kind of when I ended up going nearly completionist, not really completionist, but started to do almost every quest rather than just picking one or two from each area to do. And that's because the storylines become so much more intimately interconnected there in Dunland, and we're seeing the same thing here. Again, we're not just getting a bunch of side quests, right? I don't come into Stanrek and I see somebody with a quest ring over his head who is like, "Hi, can you go, kill 10 bears," or something like that. That's not how this storyline works, right? Instead, we get this, we're drawn into this really interesting kind of political drama with ramifications for the whole shape of the story of the Lord of the Rings, right, as we know it's going to be working out later on. So that's, I think, I really admire how their approach to quest storytelling has changed over time. So Rohan is really the furthest I've gotten. My highest level character, Wigand, has just finished Volume 3 and is ready to start Volume 4. Is sort of standing on the edge, on the threshold of the Paths of the Dead. So I haven't really gotten to Gondor and explored any of those stories yet. And so I am hopeful and confident that when I do, I'm gonna really like Gondor as well, just as I have really enjoyed Rohan. Sort of each area more than the one before. But anyway. Yeah, so I think Rohan is my favorite region, but okay, cool. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. What time is it? I'm good. Growling menace at the gate.
Rohirrim have need of your
so I got the
services.
vile hounds. Yes, I figured I'd have to vanquish them. No problem. I can help clean up the hounds. Got it. Well, then who else was I meant to talk to? Tatooine? Was he the dude with the horses? Yes. He is. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, speaking of Wigand on the cusp of the Paths of the Dead and exploring into Gondor, this has been rather on my mind of late because I'm about to do that. I'm having a special marathon stream next week. Green Expanse?
Will you aid the Rohirrim?
As I have seen, your horses are hungry. Right. Yet you can't take them out to graze. Bring back some heaps of grass. Okay, sure. I'll bring you back some clandestine grass. I'll bootleg you some grass. Smuggled grass from the outside. Sure, we can do that. Okay. Those are the only two I was supposed to talk to, right? So grass and dogs. Oh, that's a goat. All right, so I'm going to head down to... where's the dogs? Oh, wait, there's a clump of grass. All right, I can collect grass. So anyway, as I was saying, next weekend, so on the 29th of September, I am going to be doing a marathon stream starting at noon Eastern time. So noon server time on my the Signum University channel. So twitch.tv/SignumU. I am going to be doing my annual marathon running. Signum University is beginning its fall fundraising campaign. We are a nonprofit university funded almost entirely by the generosity of our listeners. So we are going to be doing our fundraising campaign, and as is traditional, I'm going to do my big LOTRO marathon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Wigand, and I'm going to go as far into Gondor as we can go. I'm pointing his, the prow of his little ship towards Minas Tirith, and I'm gonna sail that direction until I sink beneath the sea. So it'll be a long marathon. I'm guessing probably at least 12 hours. I don't know how far exactly I'm going to get, but we'll see how he can do. But he's going to be starting off with the Paths of the Dead and everything. So it's going to be great fun. So I do hope that you guys will join me for that. They'd be able to stop in next weekend, the 29th, next Saturday, and that'll be a lot of fun. You can come out and help support Signum University and join me for the stream, which would be great fun. I can't wait to get into Gondor and to really explore. I've been in the Paths of the Dead, but I've only been in the Paths of the Dead in the form of a chicken, which, I'm not saying that isn't satisfactory in its own way. It was a fun little preview of the Paths of the Dead. But where am I meant to go? How do I get to the dogs? Huh. Are they? Oh, they're down there. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So. Is this where they are? No. Nearby here. Hey, I found one. A vicious plainshound. Yeah. So yeah, as I say, I do hope you'll join us for that. And yes, I'm on Landreval. That is the that is my server I've always played on, and yes, all of my main characters are on Landreval, except for Narnian, who's on all of them. But okay, well, that was a dog. Huh. Okay, so I guess down there was not the right answer. There's just a rat down here. I'm really tempted to go swimming upriver, but I won't. Okay. And no, sorry, I don't have any news about London Moot yet. I've been really busy with lots of things, so I haven't had a chance to figure out yet exactly what we're going to be doing, but we will have news on that before too long. Sorry about that. However, I should mention that we have other moots that are coming up. We have a bunch of... so one of the things that Signum does is we host a lot of regional events, little mini one-day conferences that are super fun. Our conferences are sort of like they're sort of like academic conferences, except more fun. They're like really great fan gatherings. Oh, I see. Sorry, it's further down the road. I hate that. So this little light green quest patch there, I hate those. I always miss them because they're so faint on the map when they're over green. Anyway. Okay, sorry. So that's where the dogs are. At the fetid caves. I love the adjective fetid. Okay, right. Yeah, it was much further. Ooh, it's right near that keep I really want to visit. But I will be patient, because I'm going to assume that I'm going to be sent to that keep. Where to go? Oh, I see there's these little flags there. Okay. I assume I'm going to be sent there before long. So we'll see. Okay. Are there caves here? Are the caves fetid? This looks reasonably fetid. Hey, a pile of remains. I was supposed to give it a proper burial. Gnawed, discarded remains could have been anything, possibly even a person. Examine the food remains of the vicious hounds to see if any men of Stangard or innocent passers-by fell victim of the evil dogs. Okay. Can do. All right. Okay. Now I'm here fighting vicious plains hounds. So while I'm talking about events that are coming, so our moots. So we have a bunch of moots that are happening. Okay, animal, dead animal. So this coming in just a few weeks, actually, at the beginning of October, I'm going to be in Kansas City. So we're going to go to Kansas City for Middle Moot, which is our gathering sort of vaguely in the middle of the country. And so that's October 6th, Saturday, October 6th. And then the next one coming up is Los Angeles. So LA Moot is going to be in October 27th, near the end of October will be LA Moot. And then after that will come Magnolia Moot in the southeast. So that's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina on November 10th. Yeah, that's right, November 10th. And then Tex Moot back down to Texas for Tex Moot in January, on January 19th. So we have registration is currently open for all 4 of those moots. These are really cheap. So Signum University never makes any money from our moots, by design. Like our moots are, we have to charge for them because it costs us money to run them, right? So and we provide lunch and everything too. So we do have to, but the ticket prices are really low. It's like $40 to attend for the whole day, and you get lunch, and that's it. So we just try to break even. We just want to provide the opportunity for people to get together, hang out, have a really good day, get together. I love a chance to meet up with folks and talk with people, to hear from other folks, and it's just a great way to kind of gather with like-minded people in your region. Really fun. So. I hope that if you are anywhere near any of these places, again, Kansas City, Los Angeles, whoa, that guy died really easily, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Texas. Oh, so I just said Texas vaguely, right? Waco, Texas specifically, is where Tex Moot is going to be. We were in Fort Worth last year. We're moving down the highway to Waco this year. So okay, I think did I examine all the bodies? Yes, I did. Okay. Oh wait, hang on. There's a corpse over here. Is attacked by its own kind? Whoa. All right. Oh, Gripjaw and Dreadgaze, huh? Okay. Where are they? Gripjaw. No, not Dripjaw. Oh, here they are. Ooh, what have they killed? Are those cows? Yeah. Oh, you saw me, huh? Guess it's hard to hide in plain sight from something with really keen, from things with really keen noses. All right. Oh, and my 10th hound will be Dreadgaze. Excellent. Congratulations. Thank you for being the 10th hound here today. Okay. Did I do all the things? We did all the things. Woohoo! All right, so let's head back up to Saber. Oh, hang on. Backpack. Oh, there's another hound corpse, but it's presumably the same thing. Ooh, scraps of Rohirric text. My favorite. My favorite treasure. Okay. All right, hounds. I'm working my way through your fetid... Oh, it's a dead end. Oh, well. All right, I'll just head up this way. Okay. All right, very good. So we'll head back and talk to Saber, and I'll feed some horses. And then we'll probably be at the end of our time. So the other thing that I wanted to let you guys know about, I think I saw Druid's Fire mentioning this before. So next weekend on the 29th is my big marathon stream, which I wanted to make sure to tell you about, as I did. But tomorrow we're having a special event as well. So tomorrow, of course, is Bilbo and Frodo's birthday. It's Hobbit Day tomorrow, so we're having our celebration. It's the beginning of our fundraising campaign, so that we're doing a celebratory event tomorrow afternoon. We're doing a reading event. So at 3:00 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be coming to. So I'll be on my Twitch stream again, and we're going to do some readings. Me and a few other people are going to be reading some of our favorite passages, both from... I'm going to read several Tolkien passages, including a passage from the Fall of Gondolin. And then we're going to have some discussion. So it's not designed to be a sort of academic event. It's designed to just be a celebration. You know, Hobbit Day is a good day for celebrating these stories that have meant so much to us. So we're going to be doing some Tolkien readings. We're going to be sort of discussing all the things that we love about Tolkien and how much these stories have meant to us. And then we're going to be reading some other works too that other people really wanted to talk about. Namely, in particular, Harry Potter and some from Ursula Le Guin as well. Because Mythgard, we do a lot of Tolkien stuff at Mythgard, but it's more, and Signum, but it's more than just Tolkien studies. We do a lot of other things as well. So many of our people love science fiction and other works of fantasy, including, of course, especially Harry Potter. We've had a big Harry Potter contingent among our people. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to be... So 3 p.m. tomorrow, if you go to my Twitch channel, the Signum U channel, 3 p.m. tomorrow, you can catch our reading event. I encourage you to just go and subscribe to follow our stream. Again, twitch.tv/SignumU. Then you'll get notifications for all these things, as well as our regular classes. Exploring the Lord of the Rings, the longest term, most detailed study of the Lord of the Rings in the history of the world. If that sounds like an idle boast, try us. You'll see. It's not. I can say with confidence that no one has ever done a longer term, more detailed public discussion of the Lord of the Rings ever. I feel very confident of that. Anyway, so that's been great fun. We've got Mythgard Academy, where we're doing Sir Thomas Malory's Mort d'Arthur right now. So if you've ever wanted to read some real Arthurian literature before and see what the actual Middle English stories of King Arthur were like, and it's really fun, then you can come and join us there. Lots of things going on there. Okay.
Our mission is dire.
Hey, no problem. Always happy to help feed the horses. That's good. On the sly. Yeah, I smuggled in my grass there. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Phil, I'm totally regretting rushing through Chapter 1 so precipitously. I did Chapter 1 in 4 sessions? It's ridiculous in retrospect. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Sub-Air. Yep, defeated him.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Hey, no problem. By the way, there's more. So yeah, there were these two, and I killed them.
Will you aid the horse
Yeah,
lords?
they were great. Yep. They were pretty shuddery. I agree. And they also killed some folks.
What brings you to these lands?
Yep. Rohirric warriors outnumbered by wild slavering dogs. Yeah. How has it come to this, right? Okay. All right, let's go back to Gada. Look at that. just gained some rep with the men of Stangard. That's great. We'll talk to Gada, and then I'm going to have to say goodbye.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Okay. You wish Sithric had the wisdom to see what good could be done here if only he stepped out of our way. Yeah, I don't think it was an accident, man.
The Rohirrim have need of your
Shortage
services.
of meat is a problem. Okay. Rations are small and sparse. Goats! I'm supposed to kill the unoffending goats? I could go and hunt you some venison if I'm feeling frisky. Okay. None of us are given leave to hunt them. Right. Okay, collect goat meat. Okay, and deal with the threat of worms. Okay, we got the worm problems. And a farming task. My goodness, okay. Lots more. Continuing good deeds. All right, so next time. Join us next time when Gryfflet does more good deeds. Apparently. Okay. All right, very good. Well, I should run. It is, I'm come to the end of my time, and Druid's Fire is up next, so stay tuned for that. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining me today. Again, so don't forget the upcoming events. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., will be our a really fun reading event. Hope for you to join us. Would love to hear your own thoughts and impressions about these works and favorite passages and stuff like that. So would love to have you guys join in that discussion tomorrow. And then next week, next Saturday, the 29th, will be my LOTRO Marathon, where I am going to be really exploring Gondor for the first time. So super excited about that. So I look forward to these special events, and Gryfflet will be back at his normal time next week before we take a brief break because I'll be in Kansas City the week after that. So thanks, everybody, for joining me, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, then I'll see you right here next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.